Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Now, in today's video, we are going to take a look at the FV215B, a brilliant tier 10 tank that has kind of been left in the dark. Like, people kind of forget about this tank, but it is still a fantastic tier 10 tank. Now, I do have to apologize because I had a shed ton of content. Honestly, I had loads of content playing my free-to-play account, but then I got a new phone and I completely forgot about all the content I recorded. I'd already done all the videos, like I'd done all the videos, I just hadn't uploaded them to YouTube. And then I got a new phone, forgot about the content I'd made, and I wiped everything from my old phone to then give to my son. So I've got to start again. I've got no content made, so we are going to be a little bit cheeky. We are using a few replays until I have time to actually play some my free-to-play account again. So the FV215B, which is actually why you see the download. It's still downloading. I've been doing it all day pretty much because I've been at work. I haven't been on the game, so that eventually will download. So the FV215B, a British heavy tank that's absolutely brilliant when played correctly. Now, you do have to play this correctly for you to succeed in the tank. So the armor profile, where are we? We're looking at the wrong one. So the armor profile, here we go. You've got 2,562 hit points. Now, you do have a very strong turret at 264 millimeters. Like, it is actually very, very strong. And you only have 140 on your hull. So your lower plate isn't strong. Your upper plate is actually quite, it is actually strong. The slope, it can be very strong, but you have to rely on the turret on this thing. Now, it is a rear mounted turret, so again, to get things like gun depression and stuff like that, you do have to go in at an angle, which then can leave you exposed to get shot from the side, etc. So you do have to be quite careful when playing the tank, and it is a difficult tank to play, and I get that, and I get that's why a lot of people don't play the tank, or a lot of people don't succeed in the tank, but it is a brilliant tank. DPM is fantastic, 3,000. That is with me running calibrated shells as well, so you can get that to around 3,200 or something like that if you run it with the rammer. But I run it with the calibrated shells, and I would recommend running it with the calibrated shells because it gives you 184 on your HE, your HE. And that's something I do like about the tank, because you've got 280 mil on your AP, 342 on your APCR, and then also 184 on your HE. So there is a lot of things that you can penetrate with that HE. You've got a 400 alpha gun, 340 on your APCR, and 515 on your HE. Aim time is very, very good on this tank at 2.7, and the same as the gun dispersion really at 0.303 is actually pretty good. You have 7 degrees of gun depression with a top speed of 40 kilometers per hour. So yeah, it does take some skill to play the tank, and it's one of those tanks. When I first started, it was one of the tanks to go to. You know, you watch tournaments, it was always played in tournaments, apart from things like the IS-7 and the E5. This was actually a very, very good tank to play. And then Wargaming are also releasing a lot of they were releasing camouflages. You got the Octopus, which I think is fantastic, and then of course you've got the Octopus X, where you needed to get 5 mastery badges in this tank. But because of how many people were playing the tank and how good people were doing, you needed around 1,700 XP to get a mastery badge. So it was very, very hard to get a mastery badge in this tank at that time of the event. Or it was like a silent event, where, you know, you didn't know when it was ending, and a lot of people didn't even know it was going on. But let's get into a game, because the game I have is actually a very, very good game, like with a lot of damage. So in this game, like I said, it's got just about everything. It's got the plus sides of things, it's got the negative sides of things, it shows its weaknesses, and of course it does show its strengths. Now, usually, like I said, you don't see many FV215Bs out there that perform really, really well, and that's only one reason for that, really. Well, 2 reasons. Not many people are actually playing this tank anymore, and the wrong people are playing them, and that just, you know, they're just playing them correctly. But, you know, a lot of the times when you see a good player playing this tank, it is almost unstoppable because it has everything. Honestly, it has that HE pen, it has the turret armor, it has the DPM, it's got a very nice gun, it's got the, you know, it's got almost everything apart from the hull armor. Now straight away you see this guy that has gone to the cap area. Now this map here on Vineyards, this is the best position for this map because it's got the little hills in front of it, enough so he can back down and the enemy can really only see his turret, and of course that is the strongest part of this tank, and that is what I would always recommend, you know, to get on a ridge, but you know, only a little ridge like this, a ridge like this, so enough that you can get your gun under, but enough to also hide your hull, and absolutely perfect position this is. And even you can see there, like coming out sidewards, he is still bouncing shots. Now of course you do have to be wary of the tanks in front of you, especially if you are in this position. This E5 here could easily penetrate our guy, like very easily, on his hull, so you do have to be very careful. Now sometimes this game or this battle, he's going to take unnecessary hits, and you've always got to look around like where your tanks are. You can see there are a couple of tanks that are to the right, and there's a couple of tanks to the left as well, and he's doing a good job. You know, he's bouncing shots, he has taken some shots as well, and now what he's decided to do is to pretty much go DPM up against this pattern, which was probably not the best of tanks to go up against. It is a medium tank, it's got DPM, and yes, he's doing damage to this pattern, but also he has a teammate that is shooting him as well. I wouldn't have lost, I mean look, he's lost almost half of his hit points against this guy, and he's had support, so basically he's just lost half of his hit points, when really, to be fair, he probably didn't need to lose any hit points. You know, he could have left a lot of hit points to his friend or his teammate. Now he is using the HE wisely, as you can see up against this object 704, and you can over 600 damage there. He's using, I mean, he's still going, he's set him on fire, so he's using the HE very wisely. But at the moment it's a 4 versus 4. Now you could take out this object because he is about to die, but so does one of his team as well, so it's now a 3 versus 3, but the enemy still have hit points. They do still have hit points. I don't know why that guy is just going absolutely crazy, but he's now done 5,000 damage, and again there is still a lot of hit points left. Now that E5 has just been absolutely annihilated, over 1,000 damage done in a second, and that could potentially cost the green team. Just go in, there's 3 tanks and he just goes in like, and that's sometimes that is the problem with with mouse drivers. They just sit there, you know what, I'm driving a mouse, no one can penetrate me, I've got all this armor, then all of a sudden bang bang, you're dead, 50 bullets in your head, blah blah. So now basically he has got 2 tanks around him. He's got this well, not the mouse, but the motion here, and you can see he's still getting some bounces. He's actually bounced 1,100 damage, so he's still done a very good job taking care of that mouse, the motion, very easily in the end. But now he's got a different caliber of a tank coming towards him. He's on 6,700 damage, so he's still done a brilliant job. But now the E100 coming, he's a one-shot, and luckily he manages to get a bounce from this guy, so he is going to reload. He can even switch to the APCR to get him now gone, to bring it down to a 1 versus 1. It's a 1 versus 1, but sadly he doesn't have the hit points. He cannot take a shot from this E100. If he would have just like saved 1 shot, then it would have completely been a different outcome. And that's why I say, you know, I know there's a tank in front of him when it was the pattern, and I know he knew he could deal with the pattern, but sometimes you have to be patient. Sometimes losing your hit points isn't worth it, because you may need them hit points later on. But all in all, it is still an absolutely brilliant tank when played correctly. Let me know your thoughts on the FV215B in the comments below. But for now, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.